can I remind members that this committee meeting will be a hybrid meeting, as all have been throughout the pandemic, and it will be recorded and broadcast throughout Parliament buildings and online. Today we have got 3 members in the room, myself, Emma Sheeran, the Chair, Paula Bradshaw, the Vice Chair, and Carol McCullen. And then attending via Starleaf, we have Paul Frew from the DUP, we have Alan Chambers from the UUP, and Mark Durkin from the SDLP. So I'm going to now move through the CLAR. And the first item on the agenda is apologies, and I haven't received any formal apologies for this afternoon. We don't yet have Christopher Salford on the call, but potentially he will join us later on, as he has done in the past. The next item then is Chair's business, and members, at the outset, I do have one piece of Chair's business, and it pertains to the work of the committee. So obviously we are now in a position where we have clear positions from all 5 parties, and we've received position papers from all parties. But at this stage we still don't have a panel of experts, the panel of experts who are mandated by NDNA to guide us in this work and to help us establish a Bill of Rights for the North. And it is clear from the DUP paper that they are opposed to a Bill of Rights. They have suggested that a Bill of Rights should not focus on rights, but instead on principles, guiding principles and values. And the opening line of their position paper states that the Democratic Unionist Party remains unconvinced by proposals for a Bill of Rights for the North. This explicit opposition to rights that is outlined in their paper is in line with the veto of the appointment of the panel of experts, and everyone will be aware that the opposition to a panel of experts has been linked to one particular human rights expert who has been named as Colin Harvey. It is long past the days, member, of no nationalists need apply, and it now appears that we have a situation where no human rights expert need apply. So this block from the DUP is unacceptable. It's undermining the work that we have all engaged in over the course of the past 20 months. It undermines the advice that we have taken from academics and from other experts, and it prevents us concluding this task as set out for us in NDNA. So I am proposing at this point that we suspend this meeting until we have the creation of a panel of experts as outlined in NDNA, and we can then proceed with creating a Bill of Rights, which is an actual Bill of Rights, because everyone that we have engaged with has told us that they do not want an aspirational Bill of Rights or a list of principles or guiding thoughts. They want to see a Bill of Rights that actually delivers for the people of the North of Ireland. So I'll invite members for comment at this point.
I second that proposal.
Very good, Carol. Paula?
Thank you. I was rather flabbergasted to read the DUP's response. I suppose in some ways it has been a position they have held true to over these years, but I thought that this process was a fresh approach to it. The engagement that we've had, not just from human rights experts, but across society here in Northern Ireland, has been overwhelming in terms of the support for a Bill of Rights for Northern Ireland. And I saw not least the bill itself, but the preamble as an opportunity for us to set out a vision for how we want all our citizens to be supported through our public services and through government, etc. So I do think we do need a bit of time away to reflect on this and engage with our parties and to get the panel of experts up and running. I would support you on that, but I just don't know where we would go from this if that continues to be blocked at the executive.
Thanks.
Disappointing.
It is disappointing, but I don't want to see us continuing in a charade. I don't want a situation where we've led stakeholders, experts and the general public. 84% of those who responded to our consultation wanted to see a Bill of Rights that included socio-economic rights. So a list of principles isn't what people want, and we've been engaged in this process now for almost 2 years, and we've had 23 years in total since the signing of the Good Friday Agreement, and this is a commitment from the Good Friday Agreement in 1988. And to allow one group to block it and to veto it is not acceptable. If members want to come in, indicate.
No, Chair, I would just share the sentiment expressed. That's one of disappointment. It wouldn't be a major shock or surprise. I'm sad to say either. A lot of people have put a lot of effort into this, not least the committee chair, yourself, but the officials in the committee, not to mention the external stakeholders who have contributed so much and so positively, I have to say, even though they were approaching it all from different angles. So it is very frustrating, and I think we do have to consider how we apply pressure. We shouldn't have to, but how we apply the requisite pressure to move this block.
Thank you, Mark. Carl?
Again, just to repeat both what yourself and Paula and Mark have said, I mean, I had 6 months out of this committee covering for Deirdre, but I already knew there was a lot of work involved in the work of the committee staff, but indeed all the stakeholders, who many of which we met. There was a clear message to us all, well, 86% clarity, that people wanted a Bill of Rights. And I'm just really exacerbated that in 2021, you know, we have a situation where literally what the biggest party is putting down effectively what is a Bill of No Rights. And not even that, an eminent, internationally recognised human rights expert is being blocked. And I think that sends out a very, very sad message, not even sad, but depressing message. And I do think we all need to go back. We're here, we're appointed by our parties. I think we all need to go back to look to see what progress can be made. But I'm just questioning the fact that the DUP put this position paper in. You know, it's probably one of the biggest spanners I've seen in such a long time. And I'm just hoping we can use any time possible to overcome obstacles, without sounding naive, but overcome any obstacles to try and get, because I mean, this work doesn't have any credibility without an agreed panel. And that's something that's very, very clear. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. So at this point, I'm proposing that we suspend the meeting, and that proposal has been seconded. Alan, my apologies, I didn't see you indicating there. Go ahead.
Sorry, Chair, did you call me in?
I did indeed. Apologies, I hadn't
Oh,
seen your
sorry,
hand
Chair,
raised.
I misunderstood. Sorry. Yeah, just, I mean, my party has submitted a paper and we've declared what our position is and what our views are on various aspects of the proposals. But I think that, you know, if we're talking about a logjam now, it's not basically really within this committee at the moment. I mean, everybody has done what they were asked to do. They've produced a paper. But the logjam is outside of our control. It lies with the executive and the TEO, and they're the people who are charged with the responsibility of appointing this panel of experts. And if we can't proceed with their work until that panel is established, in whatever form it is established, that's no fault of this committee. So I think last week we did write to the TEO, and I think we wrote also to every executive minister. And I think until we get feedback from that, well, we really don't know where we stand. But as I said, the fault does not lie within this committee.
Thanks, Alan. I'm going to bring Carl in.
Chelsea, with the greatest of respect, I think just blaming it on TEO is an insult here. The blockage is with the DUP. So I think we need to call this out.
Yeah.
The DUP have blocked the panel of experts because of Colin Harvey. And that message is very, very loud and very clear. So just to kind of say, you know, it's TEO, I think is just not reflective of where things are at.
Yeah, well, I would be in agreement, and the paper that has been submitted by the DUP is very clear in their position towards the Bill of Rights, and that's consistent with what we already know about their blockage of the panel of experts. So that would be my view as well. So at this stage now, I think we should suspend the meeting, and I thank you all for taking part.
Thank you.
This is the Northern Ireland Assembly Committee Room.